guys, what's up? It's HayIshMandy, and I want to apologize for the long wait. I'm so sorry it took me so long to get part 3 up. I've been overfilling my plate with a bunch of stuff, and life happens, but it's fine. Let's get back into The Sims 2. I believe in the last episode we had just had twins. Of course, I'm playing The Sims 2 for the first time, and the first time my sim has a baby, I get twins. I feel like that's just my luck, but let's get into it. Yes, I left you guys off with my sim peeing herself in front of her very fresh newborn twin girls, Elena and Bailey, and things did not go well. I tried so hard to feed the babies and change the babies, and I made the mistake of not changing the babies on their changing table, even though I had bought a changing table. Just change your babies on the changing table as much as you can because it saves you from cleaning up so many diapers. Mess just attracts after having newborns in real life and in The Sims 2, but it feels like in The Sims 2 it's tenfold because look at the state of my kitchen. Pee on the floor. My babies are crying because I left them on the floor instead of putting them back in their cribs, but maintaining their needs while also trying to take care of Layla and her husband is hard. So Brandon just got back home from being a cat burglar, and he went ahead and saved his two little girls from the floor and put Elena in her crib and then Bailey in her crib. And I thank him for that because she needed to sleep. So I made sure to try and get Dad in bed as quickly as possible. And they slept for the rest of the night, but that didn't really last the longest because as soon as Layla got up in the morning, she was starving, and I mean starving. So I tried to take care of as much of Layla's needs in the morning as soon as I could, making sure she got 3 square helpings of whatever food I could. I made sure Dad came down in the morning too, and they had a nice little breakfast together before Dad went ahead and got a bottle and started feeding one of the babies, and I got Mom started on taking out the trash. And when I did that, I discovered that lightning had struck my tree outside in the front lawn, and apparently it was on fire. That was such a cool experience. Luckily, it was still raining, so the rain put my tree out immediately, but I've never experienced that. Like, I wish that was something that would happen in The Sims 4 because that was such a funny thing of my sim just walking outside, seeing her tree on fire. It was actually kind of cute, but I tried to have Mom and Dad take care and cuddle and play with the babies as much as possible before Layla had to head to work, and then I left Brandon home alone with the 2 new babies. I once again tried to get him to do some of the cleaning that Layla couldn't finish. He wanted to put some leftovers away, but baby Elena was in front of the fridge, so he changed her diaper and moved her out of the way, back onto the floor, not anywhere else, but on the floor. And then I got to work on cleaning out both of the diapers and the 3 bottles on the floor, putting away the clothes and the plate, geez. And yeah. By the time Brandon had gotten down to eat the rest of the pancakes, they had spoiled, but that didn't stop my slob of a husband from eating them anyways. And once again, I get another freaking pop-up, this time about should Layla comment on this bad painting above her boss's office. I tell her to hold her tongue. He then criticizes her for not saying anything about the painting, and she loses arts and enthusiasm points. And I swear I can never win at these. Putting that aside, Brandon ends up waking up for work, only to realize there's no one here to take care of the baby, so he ends up missing his carpool because he doesn't want to leave for work. I haven't figured out how to take off family leave at this point, so he goes back to bed. Layla ends up coming home not even 30 minutes later anyways, and so he misses work, which is great, but it's fine. They both go ahead and take a round at taking care of each of the babies, one parent feeding each one. And Layla also keeps bringing people home from work every time she comes home. Somebody is coming home with her, so interesting. Once again, I made the mistake of not freaking changing the babies on the changing table and just making more mess for myself. I don't learn this lesson, but at least we got a cute moment of them both taking care of their babies in the kitchen. As hard as taking care of like twins in The Sims 2 is, there's something about Sims 2 babies. They're so cute, even when you leave them on the floor for hours at a time. and they're just helpless little potatoes. They're so stinking adorable, and I love them. Also, at this point, I think using bottles in the fridge takes like your groceries. So I kept running out of groceries. I swear every time I wanted my Sims to make a meal to take care of themselves, I had to buy groceries. I eventually learned to just fill the entire fridge, which is like $400 of food that I buy, which still seems like it runs out impossibly fast. But I never get tired of the delivery people delivering their food. It is such a cute, I don't know, I just love it. I just like seeing it. So immediately I get Brandon on making some pancakes. He, of course, friggin' burns them. So I have him eat the burnt pancakes, and Layla goes ahead and makes herself something delicious to eat while he takes care of the babies. So once Layla was done making and eating up her food, I went ahead and had her sit down and eat that. I've been trying to maintain and prioritize both of the parents' meters and needs as much as possible, which is very difficult when trying to also take care of newborn twins. So I had them go ahead and sit down on the couch and have some conversations with each other, get that social meter up while also watching some TV and working on their fun. And of course, at this time, all of their other needs are going down, like their hunger and food and bladder and energy. But we don't get chances to sleep and have full meters around here because the babies also need tending to. I finally started wising up using the baby changing table. Of course, I still had a dirty diaper on the floor from when I had Dad not use it. That was a mistake. So I went ahead, had Layla finish up cleaning up Bailey, and then had her take the diaper downstairs to the trash can. And with all of these newborn baby messes comes just general messes in the house. And if you leave those messes alone for too long, also I had a bottle out in the grass up front. I don't know how that happened. But if you leave these messes alone for too long, you start getting an infestation of bugs. Stomping on them can fix your problem, but it doesn't really. If you spray them, it'll kill them, but they just keep coming. The bugs were a never-ending battle. And because my house was so dirty, Brandon ended up getting the flu and that he said he needed extra rest. So I made sure that both of the parents got as much sleep as possible so they could fight the flu and wouldn't feel so bad. But the light at the end of the tunnel was just around the corner because both of the girls would be aging up to toddlers the next day. And Brandon also had the night off of work, which was great for us because I have not been prioritizing his job. So I had Layla go ahead and take care of both the girls. And then I get a pop-up about Elena being hungry again. I don't know why this specifically seems to happen to just Layla. Did I say Alayla? I meant Elena. I don't know why this specifically just happens to Elena because I'm pretty sure I was feeding her and Bailey as much as possible at the same time. But Layla ended up peeing herself again. And so I had her go ahead and jump in the shower real quick and feed the babies over and over again. As you can see by the sheer amount of bottles on the floor, I made sure those babies weren't starving because you can't look at a baby's needs panel. You just can't see it yet. So I had no idea how they were doing. I just had to guess, which is why Elena kept getting that she was starving so many times. I felt bad, but it's hard work around here. I feel like it was just a routine of eat, sleep, clean, take care of the babies. Like that was a never-ending cycle. I feel like you have to have one parent who's a stay-at-home parent because nothing ever got done. And as I am telling you guys all of this, I am realizing how close to having a real newborn this experience is. It was a struggle bus. And I feel like that's the same routine I had when my son was a newborn, is just eat, sleep, take care of the baby, clean up. Like, I guess that's, for a life simulation. I think they got that pretty on the nose, which is kind of funny, actually. Oh, but after that, I had Brandon clean up the 17,000 bottles on the kitchen floor and Layla's pee puddle. And I get another pop-up about Layla at work. She's a ventriloquist and her dummy's head falls off. So she has to make the decision of should she pick it up and reattach it or ditch the dummy. I tell her to ditch the dummy. She tosses it off to the side. And I apparently picked the wrong thing again because she loses charisma skills at that point. Once again, I hate these stupid pop-ups. I don't think you're supposed to win them. I don't know if you can. I don't think it's possible. Apparently, I was distracted by the chaos of Layla never doing good at work that Elena just decided to age up. I completely forgot that it was the next day and the girl's birthday was today. And so Brandon went and picked Elena up, and in his arms he tossed her into the air, and she came back down a toddler, and I was kind of shook. I was expecting Bailey to also pop up and age immediately, but she took a little bit more time than her sister did. Um, I also know nothing about how Sims 2 genetics work, so I don't know how I got a redhead. I'm not upset about it. I just thought that the girls would have brown or blonde hair, but nope, they were both redheads. I don't know how Sims 2 genetics works. If it's predisposed to every baby is just a random hair color, but they're twins. They had the same hair. I wasn't going to argue. I kind of felt bad that Layla missed the girl's birthday because she was at work. But once again, like I said, Layla keeps bringing friends home from work. I don't know if she's got a special connection with these people, but she just keeps bringing people home with her. I also decided to go ahead and call the exterminator because while she was outside, I noticed more bugs on the floor. So he said that he would charge me $10 initially and $50 per hour. I don't remember how much it ended up being, but he said he'd be back first thing in the morning. Once again, trying to stay on top of the parents' needs. I had them go to sleep. Her coworker was sneaking into her room. Luckily, the toddlers stopped him, chased him away, but then they started screaming and woke both Layla and Brandon up. I don't know why I thought toddlers would be easier than newborns in this game, but they just go after what they want. If they want you awake and they need something, they're going to wake up both the parents. I thought the toddlers would be nicer to each other, but they don't like each other. I think any interaction that I saw the girls have with each other was just met with negative relationship points. So I don't know how Elena and Bailey are going to grow up with their relationship, but they're seeming like the pleasant girls in The Sims 2 currently, with them both being redheads and hating each other. So I kind of found that an interesting parallel. Since the girls had gone ahead and woke up both the parents, I went ahead and made them eat some stuff, take care of their bladder, take a shower, watch some TV. I will say, I feel like I had a little bit more time at this point to have both parents take care of themselves a bit more, but not great. It still wasn't going fantastic, but I think I was getting the hang of things or things were becoming easier. I don't know which, but I was doing better. Eventually, the exterminator ended up showing up, which was kind of nice. I think it was well worth the money to get the exterminator to come out, but he came around and he started spraying his little chemicals, and the girls were then awoken from their slumber for the night and began screaming at me from their crib. I'm so glad that you guys don't have the audio for this yet, because I still at this point wasn't recording with audio because I was dumb and didn't notice. So feel lucky that you don't have to hear all of this crying, because I had to hear it. I heard way too much of it. Now that the girls were toddlers, I went ahead and used the high chairs because I purchased them. I felt like I should use them. They were a complete waste of time. I think I used them once before I quickly wised up to never doing that again because it was a pain in my butt. The process to feed them in the high chairs takes like double the amount of time of just getting them a bottle out of the fridge and giving it to them. So I never used the high chairs again. I went ahead and put Elena and Bailey upstairs. Once again, Elena is the one with short hair. Bailey is the one with the long bob. If you want to change their appearance, you can just take them to the mirror and do that. I, for some reason, didn't with the toddlers. I just kind of let them wear the outfits they aged up in and the hair they aged up with and just kind of just live with it. Apparently, I guess I tried this twice, and I think it was the second time that I was like, this is not worth it, because they ate and they were still hungry, and then I went to give them bottles instead. Like, look at how long this is taking me. I didn't edit this part down. I mean, I sped forward here and there, but it took so long. It took so long just to feed the girls, and they weren't even completely full at that point either. I could finally see their needs panel. I wasn't doing that great still. At this point, Bailey said, screw these people. They're not doing a great job. I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to escort myself out the building. And Elena, bless Elena, she fell asleep sitting up. After coaxing Bailey back inside, I had Layla talk through the bear at her, which is really cute. I tried to do some general interacting with the toddlers, trying to get that toddler experience. It was not fun. I did not enjoy. I think I prefer the babies almost. I don't know why. It was harder with the babies, but I don't know, the babies are cuter to look at. The toddlers creep me out. Like, don't get me wrong, they're still cute, but I think the Sims 4 toddlers are a little cuter. But putting that aside, I went back to taking care of Layla's needs. Once again, I feel like The Sims 2 really focuses on trying to keep your Sims alive, because I was really focusing on taking care of every aspect of my Sims' needs. Just the most mundane tasks, I was going for it. Also, audio's back, so go ahead and listen to Bailey cry. Wasn't that so nice? Aren't you so happy that you got to experience that on the same level that I did? I don't know. I mean, I feel bad that the babies are crying that hard for your Sims and stuff like that, but it's a little funny at the same time. It's sad, but it's funny. But once again, back to changing their diapers. And God bless Brandon. He was really the MVP of taking care of the girls when they were toddlers, because he tried, to teach them skills like talking and walking. He had, I think, that whole weekend off, so he was just taking care of the house. He was fixing the shower, cleaning things, making the meals, while Layla went ahead and would get some sleep and really kind of focus in on her career, which I really appreciate, because once again, I think you just need one of the parents to just be a stay-at-home parent, because it's difficult. It is really difficult. I went ahead and made sure both Elena and Bailey were being fed again, because I knew they were going to tell me that Elena was starving if I didn't do it soon, because apparently only Elena is ever hungry. Layla got up and went ahead and put Elena to bed. Brandon went ahead and put Bailey to bed. But with both of the girls down and ready to go to bed, I went ahead and had both the parents talk to each other. And that's when our bills came in. And apparently we hadn't been paying them. I mean, I don't blame us. We had a lot going on. It makes sense. You know what? When your bills are due, you know what sounds like a good idea? Going shopping for clothes for your 2 toddler girls. So instead of paying my bills, I had Layla go shopping. Because I'm a great Sims 2 player. I'm just kidding. I did have Brandon go and get the bills at least while Layla was heading out, and have those paid. That way I could prioritize spending however much money on clothes that I wanted to, because while we were out going shopping for the girls, my plan was to get them toddler clothes and clothes for them to age up and change into when they became children, because I didn't want to have to make another trip. So I went ahead, had Layla go up to the rack and start purchasing. You can switch through the different age selections and pick out outfits. You just add them to your cart. I, once again, bought a couple outfits for them as toddlers, and then I looked through all of the options for children's clothes. I was trying to guess at what their personalities would be. And I know they're my Sims, and I can make up whatever personality I want for them, but I try not to do that. I try to let it bloom and come into fruition as they age and grow. I also made sure to go back and buy some sets of pajamas for each age group as well. I could have bought clothes for each category, but they age up so fast and I didn't want to worry about buying formal clothing or athletic things and stuff like that. So I just bought everyday wear and pajamas and kind of left it at that. Once Layla was done purchasing clothes for the girls, I went ahead and had her call a cab to come back home. And after she was done calling a cab, she turns around and she started sniffing the flowers. You can smell the flowers in Sims 2. That is such a small and cute animation. I just want small details like that in other Sims games moving forward. Just give me small, stupid little details like that, because anytime I catch my Sims doing stuff like that, it makes my whole day. And at this point, I had also discovered that in the trying times of newborn and toddler years, I had forgotten and neglected my money tree plant. That must be some sort of metaphor for having kids, that once you have them, all of a sudden your money just shrivels up and dies. But after making sure that the bills were paid, because I thought Brandon did that earlier, but apparently he didn't get time to do that before I left. So I made sure the bills are paid and had Layla head off to work to make more money, because I just spent way too much of it on clothes and bills. God, God, they're really hitting on the life simulation here, aren't they? And another pop-up. God, another pop-up. This time, one of her coworkers are getting married, and she's debating on if she should give them some nectar or give them a blender off their registry. I said to give them the blender off their registry because I would prefer it if people would get me things that are off my actual registry list than going out of my way to get something else that they may not like. And for the first time, I won at a pop-up because they were appreciative of her gift. They were thankful for it. I kind of wonder what would have happened if I had given them the nectar. Would one of them have gotten, addicted or something like that? Would I have ruined their whole marriage? I don't know what would have happened, but I finally won at one. Okay, I'm done basking in my glory and back to business at hand here. I went ahead and had Brandon take both of the girls to the changing table and change them into their new outfits that I had bought for them because I didn't want those outfits to go to waste and I didn't know how long they were going to be toddlers. And of course, his car for work ends up showing up and I had no one to take care of the kids, so I had Brandon run to the phone real quick to see if he could call in sick to work. I still hadn't figured out family leave. I had him pretend to be sick and call in. And just listen to how he does this. The laughing away from the phone killed me when I saw this, but it apparently worked, and my boss says that we sounded pretty bad and in bad shape, so she told us to take the rest of the day off, which was great. I'm so happy. But I was also ticked off because, of course, right after he calls in sick and his car pulls away, Layla comes home from work with a friend. Now it's an older gentleman. She keeps bringing people home. I don't know how I like strangers coming to our house every day, especially around our little girls, but she just wouldn't stop bringing people home. It was an everyday occurrence. And as soon as Layla lays down, Brandon wakes up and decides he is starving, but he is also exhausted. So he kept falling asleep in his plate. And I thought he would wake up immediately, but he slept like this. Excuse me, who the heck is typing on my computer? Ah, yes, the strange man who let himself into our house. He's just using our computer now. But Brandon is suffering. He kept falling asleep in his food. And he would wake up like nothing had ever happened and just continue to eat his food. So I was stupid and I thought, maybe he had gotten enough sleep. So I had him go take another bite of food, only for him to fall back asleep in that food again. Him wake up, take another bite, continue to eat it, and then pass out yet again. And, also cry a little bit before inevitably passing out in his food and waking up again. This was an endless cycle, and the way I cannot describe how much this was making me giggle every time he passed out in his plate of food. But Brandon couldn't even relax because the girls woke up. But I went ahead and had Layla take care of them so Brandon could try and get some sleep because Lord knows he would probably have just ended up passing out while trying to take care of the girls. So since Layla had gotten enough sleep, I went ahead and had her come down and clean up some of the mess that Brandon had left. And she was going to make more food, but again, I was out of groceries. And so instead of ordering food because Layla was super hungry, I went and had her order a pizza because I didn't want to wait for groceries and have them put away and then make a meal. I just wanted to be quick about taking care of the needs for my Sims as quickly as possible. And apparently I wasn't moving fast enough because Brandon started taking a shower in the sink. I don't know if this is something only slob Sims can do or if he was just dirty for so long that he felt disgusting and felt it was necessary to give himself a little sponge bath. Then Layla went ahead and left for work and Brandon began having an existential crisis in the kitchen. He was going through it. He was doing his best to take care of the girls, but bottles were piling up everywhere. They were still complaining about being dirty and being hungry, and he was doing his best. And of course, Elena was once again getting pop-ups about being too hungry, even though obviously I've been feeding them because there's so many dirty bottles on the floor. Brandon went ahead and took care of both their diapers, fed them, and had them put to bed before he was exhausted. And then his work car showed up. So what do? I once again and see if I can try and have him fake sick again, which worked. His boss said, "Oh, wow, you must be really sick. Go ahead and take the day off," which was great. I don't know how I kept getting away with this, but I pulled it off twice in a row, only for Layla to come home immediately after with the old man again. She keeps bringing people home. I don't like it. Somehow the pizza was still good though, and I went ahead and had her go ahead and munch on that right after work. And then as soon as she was eating it, of course, it spoiled because it wasn't stinky before she started eating it, but somewhere in the middle, that's when it went bad. But poor Layla, because as soon as she got into bed, of course, Elena and Bailey start waking up and demand for their diapers to be changed. And the old man wasn't even being helpful. He was just complaining about the girls the whole time he was there. Like, if you're going to come over to our house, at least help out a little bit. But Elena and Bailey were not having it. They were getting in fights and continuing to cry. Poor Brandon just wanted to sleep. Brandon needed some me time, which I get. I finally went ahead and ordered the groceries and had Layla get it started on making some more food for the house. Even though I had given Brandon a little bit of time to be on his own, apparently it was too much time because then his social was too low and the social bunny ended up stopping at her house. They had a quick conversation before he promptly shook the air and left. That was kind of another experience that I was special to The Sims 2 that I really wanted to experience. So I guess I'm glad I neglected my Sims needs long enough for that to happen. But Brandon, there's no rest for him, and he went right back to taking care of the girls and changing their endless diapers as Elena screams at him from behind. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but at this point, I had accidentally missed another day of Brandon's work and forgot to call off sick, and he got fired from his job, which was incredibly unfortunate. But at least I had one parent here to take care of the girls because I really needed it. I think if I play The Sims 2 again, I will make sure that one parent is home to help with the kids. And I don't care if I've played The Sims 4's 100 Baby Challenge before. Taking care of just twins in The Sims 2 is impossible. Because poor Elena, she fell asleep on the floor next to a rotting bottle. Somehow pulling off looking absolutely adorable while doing it though. Bless her. So while Elena lay passed out on the floor, I went ahead and had Brandon go to bed real quick. And I once again missed my kids aging up. All of a sudden, Bailey was just doing a little jig on the floor and then turned into a child. I'm really bad at paying attention to when these girls age up. So once again, I was watching Elena like a hawk, thinking that she was going to age up next. She didn't. Once again, there was a little gap in between both of the girls aging up, but Bailey was really cute and went and took a nap with her dad. And as I was having her prepare to go change her clothing, Elena finally aged up hours later. Oh, and when each girl aged up, they both got a pop-up saying how they did. Bailey did okay, and it said Elena was a rotten rugrat and is doing terrible. So once again, poor Elena, aging up awfully. But I went ahead and had both girls change into the pajamas and clothes that I bought for them. And God, Elena, she ends up passing out right in front of the dresser because I didn't have beds for the girls yet. So I quickly flew into Build and Buy, sold the stupid high chairs, and then went and bought 2 beds for the girls. I decided that I would keep the crib and changing table because I was gonna have another baby. I don't know why after that entire experience I wanted another kid, but I thought I really wanted to try out and see if I could have just one single baby next time so I could compare how that would feel versus having twins the first time. I don't know, I just think I could do a better job next time, I say, as I have one kid passed out on the floor. But I digress. But with that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end things here. And next episode, you guys can see how Elena and Bailey continue to grow up into teens. But I hope you guys all had a fun time watching. Thank you so much. Bye!